All right, so recently I was listening to a video of Alex Ramosi, and he was discussing how it is often the case that we need to be reminded more than we need to be actually taught. And there comes a time where you know pretty much most things about the agency. You know most things about every single part, how to keep it going. Yes, of course, you are joining mentorships, you are buying courses to kind of take you to the next level if you want to scale, but the fundamentals never, ever, ever change. The fundamentals include eating healthy, working out, waking up on time, doing the right things, showing up to that call, not missing that call on purpose just because you don't feel like it, not letting your emotions get the best of you when you're in a bad rut, a bad week, or whatever it is. And and basically just sticking to the fundamentals, because the truth is it's the small things that actually matter, and the small things are actually going to compound exponentially and help you long term. And people tend to kind of over underestimate the small things in life, but it's actually not a small thing if it happens every single day in your life. For example, how you are treated with the people you are around, how you wake up every single morning, how you go to sleep the night before, if you're eating late, if you're on your phone for multiple hours at night. Yes, of course, we're all guilty of this. Doom scrolling on Instagram, you watching this, you're guilty of it too. But the point being is the small things in life aren't small. They're every single day, and they take up 20, 30, 40% of your life. And I could talk a little bit more about this, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is discussing sales. And when on sales calls, expanding the gap for the prospect and making them realize that they're not where they want to be because of themselves. And so, taking this back to the beginning of what I said, it is often the case we need to be reminded more than we need to actually be taught. But let's get into the sales portion of the call. So, on sales calls, the truth is most prospects are never doing as well as you think they are. And most people aren't doing as good as they think they are, despite them saying, "Oh yeah, we have consistent lead flow. Oh yeah, we're doing this amount of money a month or a year or whatever it is, and we have these employees, and I started this company from nothing," whatever the case might be. The truth is most companies are basically restricted from growth because of the actual entrepreneur and systems they have in place. And the actual person behind it is typically the bottleneck, because it's either the skills, limiting beliefs, or whatever else it might be. Myself included, yourself included as well. Now, as I continue to kind of teach you guys what I'm learning on this channel, yes, of course, I am guilty of things, and you are as well. We're not perfect, but if you continuously put in the inputs and do the right thing and have pure intentions, you're going to be fine. So most people on sales calls, they aren't doing as well as they think they are. And it's often the case where you can ask them on sales calls. So when it comes to lead flow, would you say the qualified appointment flow is consistent week to week, or is it more so inconsistent week to week? And if they do say that it is inconsistent, then that's great. That's pain. And you need to dig into that. And you need to dig into that and kind of allow them and make them understand that they're not where they want to be because of who they are, their beliefs, their mindset, the company that they have in place, and whatever marketing or system that they have in place, right? So and another way to look at too, like for yourself including, is that life is simply a reflection of you, and you get out what you put in. And and going back to the initial question though, lead flow, is it consistent week to week, or is it more so inconsistent? If they do say that's inconsistent, guys, that's pain, and you don't move on until you figure that out. And another thing I took from Alex Hormozy was that you don't pitch the products or even do anything about what you guys do until you are more than 100% certain that they are going to buy. And so the entire time from discovery or from the initial point of contact to until you pitch, it's basically just questions, clarifying, and diffusing. Those three steps over and over and over and over again for 35, 40 minutes until you come to the actual root cause of what's going on in their mind, in their company, that's behind them to not have the consistent lead flow that they want. And again, most people aren't where they want to be because of themselves, and most companies are nowhere near what they're capable of actually handling. And you have to define the cost of inaction as well. Define the cost of what they lost over the course of the past few years for not solving this problem. And that this problem hasn't been solved for, let's say, two years, and they can handle 5, 10 extra jobs a month. You then take the average cost of what it is for their job, for their contracting job, and then times it by 10 jobs a month, and then times that by 12. And so if they're like, yeah, so we've been trying to figure this problem out for the last 2 years. we can handle 10 more jobs a month easy without hiring or remaining at current capacity. Average and ask them what the average price point is. 15K. Cool. 10 times 15, 150K in rev lost each month. Times that by 12. Whatever the math is on that. 18. Yeah. 1.8 mil. 1.8 mil. I think that's the right math a year that they're actively losing because of them not solving that problem. And so then what you want to do is you want to ask them, is that something that they're okay with? Are they going to settle for that? And you want to kind of go into binary personas, and binary personas as in the person they want to become, the type of company they want to run, versus who they are versus who they currently are, and making them be aware that that type of person who has fixed this problem, they handle problems and make decisions way differently than their current self. And that's defining the gap. That's framing things and making the picture right in front of them so that they are stuck and bounded by you to realize their current situation. But it has to come from them, and what you're questioning is coming from a place of wanting to help. That's the most important thing. A lot of people in this space, they're just money hungry, money driven, and it sucks because it does rub off onto the prospect. They do churn clients month over month, and they can't really retain clients and build a sustainable, long term, and efficient agency, right? So you want to define the cost of inaction, put them into binary persona, and and then when it comes to if lead flow is consistent, you can also just shatter and make massive hesitation around their current ways of doing things. And let's say a company is doing 5 mil, 6 mil, 10 mil a year, whether it's roofing, HVAC, whatever it is. You can basically shatter, and you have to build massive hesitation around what they're currently doing, and get into the specifics. Ask them why this problem hasn't been solved before in the past, given that you are doing well. You could also tell them that some of the companies that you're working with are doing double what they're doing, because sometimes some of these guys, these contracting individuals, they have massive egos, and I get it, right? I mean, as do most people, they have massive egos, and they come onto this call thinking everything is perfectly well, but it's not. It's not going perfectly well, and when it comes to framing thing, it has to come from a place of them. And you have to slowly bring all of these answers and all of these realizations and epiphany moments out by asking questions. And there's a saying in sales and it goes, if it comes from you, it's shit. If it comes from them, it's gold. And so what you want to do is only write some of this down. So the saying is, if it comes from you, it's shit. If it comes from them, it's gold. Basically, you want to define the cost of inaction after asking about consistent lead flow. And so if it's inconsistent, that's pain. Dig into that. If it is consistent, that's still pain. Build massive hesitation around what they're doing and then dig into that. And when it comes to some of the best storytellers, guys, they are able to kind of bring out all of your senses, all of the ways we kind of perceive the world around us into a story. What the certain scenario looked like, what it felt like, what was going on, noises, the people there, what everyone was dressing like, and so they're able to kind of bring all of these sensory experiences out into the real world and allow us to kind of use our imagery to kind of create a portrait, create a picture. And it's the exact same thing here. You want to frame the picture for the prospects and make them understand that they aren't where they are because of their current situation, because of their mindset, and because of everything they've perceived the world through. And that's their own lens. And so making them realize that they are where they are because of their current mindset and belief and perception of reality, that's a tough thing to do. But again, it's about us leaning back, them leaning forward by asking questions and pulling them in and making them understand that we can be the solution to their problem so long A, we can actually help, B, if they actually want to help themselves, and also if it's the right thing to do. And that's important. That's really important. Coming from a place of actually wanting to help and using that frame and using that mindset. And another mindset that allows me to kind of have so much conviction and energy on the sales calls is coming from a place of wanting to help these people more than they want to help themselves. And that's freaking powerful. And I hope this 10-minute video helps you guys understand how I think about sales calls, the different routes to go down by asking that initial question about lead flow, and then the entire discovery, just simply asking questions, clarifying, and then diffusing. And it's just rinse and repeat over and over and over again until you are more than 100% certain they're going to buy. And then you, of course, then get into your pitch. But I want you to understand expanding the gap is extremely important. And that, again, if it comes from you, it's shit. If it comes from them, it's gold. I hope this video helps you guys with sales and closing more. And that's that. All right, peace.